basically him saying the following. He said, "You and I are in a day and age where deconstruction and the turning away from the faith has become some sort of sexy thing to do. I contend that if you ever experience the grace and mercy of Jesus Christ, actually, that's really impossible to deconstruct from. But if all you ever understand Christianity to be is a moral code, then I totally get it." And so, kind of with that kind of comment, with people understanding that comment to be some sort of attack against people who are legitimately trying to wrestle through their faith and their different ideas, and it actually kind of helped people kind of further their own faith in a sense, help them kind of step even further away from what they're trying to reestablish. But then they hear a comment like this, and they're like, well, this basically proves my point. So how, in certain ways, and I'm not saying I agree with Matt Chandler or not. Like, I'm just going to keep it neutral for now. But like, how comments like that, and then like other ways, how can professing Christians contribute to sort of people's deconstructions? What are some ways in which we as Christians can be like, all right, like maybe we can be a little too insensitive in certain ways. We can probably do this, we can do that. What are some ways in which us as Christians kind of contribute to people's deconstruction?
Yeah, I think that when you look at someone from a platform or for a pulpit, it can be very easy to take what they say to heart, and especially like big pastors like Matt Chandler, because it's like, oh wow, they pretty much like represent all of Christendom. Basically, when they say a statement like that, it's like, oh, like if you're deconstructing, like it's like I understand if you deconstructed from a moral code or whatever, and those people in those people's eyes, it could be like, oh, like he really doesn't, he's not listening to us, like he's not trying to understand why we're necessarily deconstructing, right? And I mean, whether or not those people were actually just like were Christians because they thought it was a moral code in order for them to get to heaven, like that, it could be that, it could be not, it could not. But I think in their eyes, it's probably like, oh, they're not listening, they're not seeing why we're actually doing this. So like that's why we can't trust these pastors or trust these people that are saying these things, because they're they're not listening to us. They're not actually wanting to sit down with us and talk with us. They all want to do is put their beliefs on us necessarily. And I think with that, church hurt, it can definitely be a contributing factor to someone's deconstruction, especially if the church that they are part of is toxic, right? If it has like toxic beliefs, it has like toxic systems in the way that, like, I don't know, women can't wear pants, like men have to only wear in suits, you can't jump around in church, you can't praise the Lord and shout and do like all these different things, where it could be like, but you're not allowing us to be able to express ourselves in a way that isn't sinful, but also could be glorifying to God. And it's just like, oh wow, you can't do that, you can't do this. I think with that, with saying toxic, differentiating between I got my feelings hurt or someone told me living in sin was wrong. Those are not those. I think those aren't just justifications for one leaving the church and, in a sense, deconstructing or trying to lead the faith. Because I think if someone likes to think of that they can live in a way that like is sinful, and they can also be a Christian and be like, oh yeah, this is fine, but someone approached you to your face and being like, hey, this isn't the way that followers of Jesus act, right? You're messing around with your girlfriend at home, like you're cheating on your taxes, you're doing all these different things. It's just like, and if someone approaches you for like saying these things, and you're saying like, oh wow, like the church is toxic, like the church doesn't show grace or love, so I'm leaving because they said this and that. It's just like, no, they approached you because like you're not acting the way that you profess. So I think there's definitely a difference for sure. But if there is emotional abuse, if there's spiritual abuse in the church, I think it could lead to someone deconstructing or a reforming path, because they could do away with what those people did or said and trying to actually see what Christianity is all about. Like for me, I think, I'm not gonna say deconstructing, because I don't think I am deconstructing. I think I'm fine where I'm at, right? But like, I always wrestle with this tension of being a Christian and also being Black. And one of those things that when I come across people that like don't necessarily follow Jesus, but they listen to all these different religions and stuff, and pretty much the theme is like Christianity is bad. Every other religion, especially whatever Black religion that there is out there, this is good because most likely it probably points to like where we're originally from. And it's like, that's not true. You know what I mean? Like if we're keeping the bug, like Christianity getting to starting from Jerusalem and the Middle East and getting to North Africa, like way before it got to Europe, bro. Like I'm not gonna say that Christianity is a white man religion because that's not where it started. And I think one of the things that I'm speaking for myself and like kind of just some people that I've interacted with, one of the things that they do when they start deconstructing or kind of walking away from Jesus is like, oh wow, like Christianity was used to oppress my ancestors, so why would I believe in this, when not really like realizing the historical context of where this religion started. You know what I mean? Okay, some of my thoughts, and I think I'm gonna pass it off to you, and then I got one more thought because I got one more thought.
I want to shout out my boy Elijah, who made a post on Instagram yesterday, and he was like, I find my soul identity in Jesus, but he also affirms my blackness. I thought that was a really dope quote, but kind of pointing to what you're just talking about.
Yeah, man. One of the things with that, I'll say this one thing and then I'll pass it off to you. Bro, with that, bro, like I think that's a lot of things that like my brothers and sisters like that share my same skin color, they wrestle with that, where it's like they're having this experience, they have this experience that they have, right? They're black, they live in the US. There's certain experiences or certain things that happen to them that they can't, that are white or any other counterparts they can't identify with, right? So when you have these people like saying like, oh, your experience doesn't matter, we're all equal, all lives matter, all these different things, but it's like, bro, it's not helpful when you say those things, and then like you wonder why someone was walking away from Jesus, because you're not giving them the grace and love that they need in order for them to to be in the faith that they profess. So I can go,
bro.
I'll pass it off to you, Josh.
That's gonna be our season 2 debut. That's